Oh, hi, good afternoon to you all.
Oh,
how are you
afternoon,
doing?
Phil. Afternoon.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
We're here at a place that's got special memories for you, I believe.
Yes. What's important about the Magnet, I'll have to take you back when I played here 51 years ago.
Wow.
When I say that, it makes me feel ancient.
Just for me,
And I just want to say that it was known as the Sink Club then.
Okay.
And I have an itinerary here to show you. In the month of January 1966, my band, the Almost Blues, played here 6 times. And on the 23rd, Sunday the 23rd, we played here at the Sink, and then we moved on to the Cavern to support little Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
And I'll just tell you, for the fee for the Sink was £10, and here, as you can see here, and the fee for the Cavern was £10.
Wow.
We always did quite a few double gigs. You can see further on the Sink and the Downbeat, Students' Union, the Cavern, Students' Union, Cavern, then the Sink. 3 gigs in one night. But what we say, it was such a special place to play, especially the blues and soul music at the time.
What was £10, Beth? Was for 7 people? Was that a lot of money?
Well, it was £10.
You got £10 then?
Yeah, what we used to do, well, that would work out what had happened. 6 people. What we used to do was, because we were working so many gigs, we'd split that 6 ways, £1.50 each. But if...
Was that a lot of money? Was that a lot of money?
How would you value that today?
I don't
know, probably about £40 each, £50 each.
That's right.
Yeah, it was fair. We were doing pretty well as a band.
Interesting.
And so I would say that was fair. And the other thing is, things you learn from the Beatles and things like that. On the first band, when we played the Cavern here, I wore a cravat and come up with denim shirt, tight trousers and welcome pickers, Beatles style haircut, but the mod thing had come in slightly then, so
you're a very dapper dresser, aren't you? I have to say.
Well, it's the art school in me.
Oh,
you can't take it out of us.
You're in the band?
We had difficulty on getting on the stage. There were 6 of us because I'd moved over from vocals. I was originally a blues singer, but then when we moved on to the more soul stuff, I moved on to trumpet. So we added also alto sax with Ray Fowles. And the singer at the time when we played here was a guy called Henri.
Okay.
So
I know that name.
And they were very special nights because we also had a single out on brought out by Charlie's studio on the Unicorn label. You can see the Almost Blues, and it says the Almost Blues Soul Band. And if you notice on here,
I'm just panning in. I'll just bear with me. Just keep it stationary. Wow, what's it called? Something that wasn't.
Yeah, the numbers just won't do right. And if you notice the stamp on it, it used to have a tax duty. That's the stamp on it. But this was done in the local Charlie Weston's studio, a local, one of the first local recording studios.
And that's in Liverpool.
That was in Liverpool. Yes.
Okay. And when was that? 66.
Oh, we were talking. This was just before, because when we played the Sink, it would be the year before, say 1965,
wow.
Going into 66. But as I say, we're here. That itinerary was January, so yeah, 65.
So was it a big scene in Liverpool, the blues, at that time?
You just have to say that.
Yeah, was it a big scene, the blues in Liverpool at that time?
Yeah, we were. I started off really as what you call a blues singer, more of a purist. I've got also here, we auditioned for Hope Hall as a blues singer, and we supported people like the Roadrunners, and then we supported Bluesology, which had Reg Dwight on keyboards, Dick Hexel-Smith, on sax, Long John Baldry vocals, and also guesting on that night at Hope Hall was Rod the Mod, which obviously one knows Rod Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was then, and I've got the contact there, but I won't show you that now. So what I'd like to say, on my way here, I was so enthused about coming down here, because it's so long since I've been down here, that I've written a short poem that I'd like to read out to you.
You wrote that on the bus coming down?
Yes.
What a man.
I travel by train, man. I'm a bluesman. Yeah, and I must say this, having worked with the poets Adrian, Roger and Brian, and also involved with Craig Charles as a manager for a couple of years, poetry becomes secondary to me in many respects, and my friend Anna got me to, as a lyricist, said you should write more poetry, so I do.
Good.
And so I'd like to dedicate this to all the people who remember the Sync Club and the fantastic times we had.
Oh, brilliant.
And by the way, I must apologise sometimes for my oncoming deafness. It's the years of playing music, visiting loud clubs.
It's part of the legacy, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. And I advise all you youngsters, be careful.
An industrial injury, yeah. Absolutely, look after your ears.
Look after your ears.
Should we hear your poem?
Yeah, I'd like to. So yeah, as I said, so I've started writing poems. I thought on the way here, I've got to do something that just sums it all up.
Excellent.
From the Sync to the Magnet. Now this is called the Sync Plug.
Okay.
Right. Just to confirm that membership was a plug with a chain on it.
Oh, okay.
Right. It's called the Sync Club. Membership confirmed with a plug. Hot and sweaty in '66. Blues and soul, what a mix. The Almost Blues and My Black Rose. So excited to be invited to supporting little Stevie Wonder at the Cavern. Then the Sync to the midnight hour, brand new bag, ain't no drag. Blowing hot, keeping cool. Mr. English ain't no fool. The maggot draws me to my past. 51 years on, the groove still lasts. Love and peace.
A good one. First class, mate. First class. Still got it.
And now it's moved on now, the Magnet, and keeping that tradition going.
Yeah.
With the variance in music, and it's what I can say, music is just a fantastic thing for the soul.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And soul music.
We've seen this place.
And it's an incredible place. I remember some of the architecture here, and but some of this not so much. I remember the booths going in. I also remember the glass pattern on the stairs coming in and coming down with those breaking lines. But it was just generally the love of music that brought people here.
Yeah. Blues music, or it was all types of music?
Oh yeah, no, they played all types. But at that time, there was obviously the Mersey beat thing was really happening. But this was a venue that stayed slightly out of that and dealt with blues and soul, and obviously funk, and especially with the DJs they had, especially with the DJ Norman Calland.
So Mersey beat taken over the world at that time.
Yes.
But that it obviously didn't kill all the types of music like the blues, as you said.
No, that's right. Obviously, the predominance of Mersey beat bands. The Mersey beat bands didn't really play down here. There's only the likes of the bands, because I'm 2 years behind the Mersey beat phenomenon, so to speak. And what I would say there is that we were the bands that added, for example, brass to the lineup. So, and although everyone in the Mersey beat bands were playing stuff like Just a Little Bit, what did I say? They were our R&B influences, and obviously with Ray Charles, the original blues influences, that takes you further back to Muddy Waters, and then further back again to Robert Johnson. But when I was down here, I was actually doing Robert Johnson's Dust My Broom, and then doing more modern soul classics for like Papa's Got a Brand New Bag and In the Midnight Hour. But also besides that, we did start to write some of our own stuff, mainly we played for the blues and soul audience. You used to love the band with that. And the singers that performed down here with us were Calland and Tommy Brown, and obviously myself on trumpet and vocals.
And how did the blues sound that you produced? Two questions really. One, can we hear what you produced at that time?
What would be the blues sound around at that time?
No, your sound.
Well, our sound.
Is there anything around that we can listen to?
Yeah, well, I have here the thing we did with the singers that played here, the Almost Blues.
Okay. I think I've seen that.
Now
Is that the one with John Hodgson in it?
Yeah, that John Hodgson's in that band, right?
He's the guy with the beard. I'm just honing in on him now, I think.
Yes.
He's got a big beard. Something down.
Do you want me to take it out of its cover?
No, it's okay. It's just bear with me. Oh, there we go. Yeah. God, they're all good looking lads, weren't they?
Yeah. And so unfortunately, Colin and Tommy Brown were never available for any of the photographic sessions. Yeah. But that's another story.
2, 4, 6, 7 guys in the band.
Yeah, as I say, when we played here, there was 6. The 7 lineup there, we added a baritone to the brass lineup, so made it 7.
Right.
We never had keyboard players. We always used just drums, guitar, and bass as the main section. But originally we did have a keyboard. I'll turn it round now.
Yeah.
The original Almost Blues, when we were doing the more authentic blues, was the 5-piece. Now the 5-piece, what we did, because we liked the Ray Charles sound so much, we went down to Frank Hesse's and we said, we've got to have that sound. So when you hear the Beatles doing Some Other Guy, you hear that Some Other Guy now. Yeah. And what it is the piano on that again is the Wurlitzer. And the Wurlitzer piano that's on the back of this cover is the one we got through Frank Hesse, imported from the Mississippi. And I always remember Jim Gretty going, "Hey lads, what are you buying that for? You should get yourself a guitar."
He was the guitar king, wasn't he?
Yeah, but we wanted
the authentic sound.
We wanted that sound, especially for Ray Charles' What Did I Say intro, you know. Anyway, so that's the original, and we were doing more blues then, and I was the singer then. Yeah. And then I said we expanded with the brass lineup and turned to this. Now this EP is the Abbey Road sessions. Yeah. Yeah. We went down to Abbey Road and we recorded quite a few tracks at Abbey Road with Tommy Brown. We recorded Come On Sock It To Me and Love Iters. And the singer with us on those, as I said, was Tommy, but also John Hodgson was on that lineup on the Abbey Road sessions. And in the earlier sessions with Midnight Hour, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, Who's Going to Pick Up the Pieces, and although I haven't got it, we also did Try Me. That's another Abbey Road session.
This is the actual Abbey Road in London?
Yeah, the Abbey Road in London.
Was that, did you have to get a mortgage to go down and record? Did you have to get a mortgage to go down and record?
No. We were down there to do demos. And I always remember this, and John Hodgson, who was with me at the time, said we had to move all the Beatles stuff out the way to play. Right. And what happened was John borrowed John Lennon's amp.
Okay.
And also, I remember standing outside Studio 2, and this guy came up to me and said, "Hey lads, don't waste any time in there, I'm in after you." And it was Engelbert Humperdinck.
Wow, the hump. He got the hump with him.
Yeah, I think John got the hump. I used to say to John and the lads, because they're typical Liverpool lads, I'll deal with all the guys, you just play. Because you know, when all the guys in Abbey Road Studios at that time, they all wore white overalls.
Did they?
And had ties on.
Like technicians.
And spoke rather nice.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Well, I'll put this down now anyway.
Yeah.
As I was saying, so, and of course the lads were going, "What's up with them lot?" And I said, well, that's the way it is. EMI and Abbey Road in particular were really recorded classical works, and the kinds of these lazy beat bands come in, give a rougher edge, so to speak, especially the Beatles came in, and but George Martin handled all that side of it, and especially with Brian Epstein, he looked after that. But when I brought these lads from all parts of Liverpool down, and they heard these cut glass accents,
what's going on?
What? Oh, is it not talking to me like that? Fill it in.
not like the studios up here.
I'll tell you the short story. Anyway, when I was down with Tommy Brown and the band, and John Hodgson was with us. And John only told me this story recently when I was recording in his studio. And what happened was we'd passed the audition recording Lovitis and Come On, Sap It To Me. And Bob Barrett, who was the A&R man and engineer, had a rolled up contract in his hand for us. And he came down and he said, right lads, love what you do. I'd like you to do a reggae version of Sam Cooke's Cupid. And I said, yeah, I'm into that, John, yeah, we'll do that. So unfortunately, one of the lads said, no, I'm not doing no reggae. And I said, oh, come on now. We've got to do a reggae version. We already do Sam Cooke's Cupid. We just make it reggae-fied. Anyway, there was a disagreement. Bob Barrett saw this disagreement. He came down with the rolled up contract, bounced it on John's head and said, enjoy the rest of your life, lads.
That was the end of that then?
That was the end of that. I thought, that's the third singer I brought down, and I thought, oh no.
So this was because of disunity amongst the, they weren't all singing from the same song sheet, literally. They basically withdrew the offer.
Yeah, they withdrew the offer, and that was 1969, and I worked so hard to get this contract. I was despondent, and I thought I can't get another singer and come down again. So I moved on from there, and eventually I actually went to music college,
right?
At the Liverpool Mater School of Music, and graduated as a licentiate Trinity College London in the art of trumpet playing. And funny that, because I went classical and I had to play Haydn's Trumpet Concerto, Honegger, and Purcell Sonata and D. And that was an experience, but I learned a lot. And also, what I would say is, I eventually, I had a choice if I continuing with trumpet playing or as a classical musician, because there was no contemporary courses at that time, or going on the tour with a band which was called Supercharge.
Yeah.
And I went on tour with Supercharge. I recorded the first album with them, Between Music and Madness, and then decided that really that wasn't the madness wasn't the route I wanted to go down. So then I was at the same time, all this time I've been working with the poets, Adrian and Henri in particular, who became a close friend. Also, I did some TV with Roger McGough and the Liverbirds. And also, I did lots of things with poets, even formed a poetry music group called Triptych with Dave Calder, but that didn't last. But in the meantime, as I say, I recorded the first album with Supercharge, and then I became very despondent with going down the route of, She Moved the Dishes First, which was one of John Peel's favourite tracks. Yeah. I decided to form a band more influenced by the music that I was into, which means the blues, back to the blues, and bands like the band, and in particular a band called Little Feat.
Yeah.
I was totally into that. Mm-hmm. So again, we did that, and we again negotiated with Simon Chapel Music, recorded the album at Jeff Beck's studio.
Was this 29th and Dearborn?
29th and Dearborn, yes. I recorded the album with Jeff, and the name, by the way, came from a trumpet transcription I had, which was by Louis Armstrong, and it's 29th and Dearborn.
Okay.
And the 29th and Dearborn are districts throughout the state, Dearborn districts, and I think the Louis Armstrong probably came from the Chicago. But then, so as I say, we've got the deal, recorded the album at Jeff Beck's studio in Underhill, and then we had Mickey Dallin as producer. Our manager was a guy called Spencer Lloyd Mason, who's passed on now, and so therefore we're all signed to sign a worldwide deal with EMI.
And when was this? 77?
This is 1976.
Right, okay.
And that was an important year for me.
It was,
1976.
I know what's coming.
Yeah, what's coming. So I got a phone call from John Darnley and Nick Watkins. Get down to EMI now. And I said, what for? I'd already signed to Chapel Music. And I said, yeah, you've got to get down here. We've got some news for you. They wouldn't tell me what it was. So I got down there, sat me down, said, now listen to this. And they put an acetate on of Anarchy in the UK. And I went, oh. I said, well, I agree with the lyrical content. I'm not too sure about the way it's played. I like the sentiment. And they said, we're sorry, John Darnley said to me, but we've got to drop you and another band, Slaughter and the Dogs, for the Sex Pistols.
You kidding me? Wow. I knew about you, didn't know about Slaughter and the Dogs. So the Slaughter and the Dogs were a punk band, weren't they? Or are a punk band still?
Yeah.
So God, that's devastating, isn't it?
What?
Devastating that you were dropped.
Oh yeah, sorry.
On the, because punk takes off, the punk pioneers, Sex Pistols, getting a deal with EMI. That didn't last actually, did it?
No. Well, what I was saying, what came in, they had to get rid of the rock and roll boogie boys, which is us,
New brew.
I know it was part of McLaren's rock and roll swindle, but I did have a phone call from Tony Dimitriadis from America saying how much he loved the band, and that, but the management at the time, our management, Spencer, didn't follow this through. He was Tony Dimitriadis ran a band called Ace, who had a hit with How Long, and he said, you come across to the States and I'll look after you, come and stay on my ranch and all this. But Spencer just didn't, although Spencer always said to me, you match my deal with EMI pound for pound, he begrudged that. And that's when I actually was demoted as no trumpet onto keyboards with 29th and Dearborn, but I still was a writer and singer along with Max. And as I said, things moved on, and I was so dejected with that. That's when I gave up the music business in '76 for a couple of years. And I drove an ambulance for social services around Liverpool. In 1980, a friend of mine came up to me and said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm driving an ambulance for social services, from the Blundell depot. And I had to keep a living to support my family. They said, you know so many people in the music business, will you front a studio? I thought about it, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So I joined up with Pete Coleman, and we started SOS Studios, Square One Studios in Davis Street. And if you look at the cat,
the video of the Lawnmower.
The Lawnmower, that you'll see that was videoed in the studio and in Davis Street where the studio was based.
It's it's a most unusual location, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like not a U-shape, but you come off the main road and it's I think it's amazing. Very narrow, isn't it? You can't.
Very narrow. What went on in that back alley, I could tell you. That's another story. Anyway. Anyway, but what happened next? We got the studio up and running in 1980, and we had all the bands in. We had obviously people like Echo and the Bunnymen. They recorded there. It's a Material, and we did the first War album, The Mighty War, which went into the independent charts. It used to be an independent chart then. And we recorded so many bands, Cherry Boys. I have too many to run through at the moment. And also,
it's all covered on your website, isn't it? You've got a great historical website for all.
And what I'll say there is also I started doing sessions. I did Shambiko Say War, I played muted trumpet for Wiley on that. I got into playing, and I was also doing the PA for Roger, the PA, with the money advance I had from Chapel. I bought a PA, we had a touring bus, and also a studio in Mount Street, prior to the SOS studios. And Pete was a friend of Andy McCluskey, who lent us the money for the
student.
OMD, Andy McCluskey, who lent us the money for the machine, a Studer A80, 8-track machine.
The 8-track was it, right?
8-track, we recorded 8.
You had a 4-track when you started, didn't you?
Yeah, we had 4-track, yes, that's right. And the 8-track, we got the money off, Andy helped us out there. But then also, at that time, I was also doing the PA for Roger Eagle.
Okay. Eric's club.
At Eric's, yeah, I did Special Selection of Madness, doing a mini tour with them. I also Brady's with Rock and Dopsy, and also had a band briefly formed, 2 bands really. One was the Love Ponies that went into the Opposition with Terry Canning, and Bill Nye recorded a track with us called
what a man, what a guy.
Hotel Rooms. But all these things were happening, and then I was recording Mick Hucknall's being managed by Roger at the time.
Roger Eagle,
Roger Eagle, and he had the Cracking Up label. Don't forget also we did the Jukebox at Eric's album with Roger at SOS Studios. And when Roger departed, the masters were thrown on top of his coffin. So we don't have any master copies of that by the artist who did all the artwork at the time.
So you didn't Mick Hucknall play with your band?
So I'll just explain about that. So what happened was I was recording at Adam's Club a double album of the Frantic Elevators, Mick Hucknall's band. We were going in with Doreen interviewing Doreen that went in. With the album was just playing, talking to some of the audience and spinning round. We're trying to make it live.
Who's Doreen?
Who?
Doreen.
Doreen was a very important person in Eric's club.
But Planet X went on to form Planet X.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, that's correct. Yes. And what happened there was, we were recording, and I looked up on the wall and I saw this poster, and it said, Brownie McGee and Sonny Terry supported by the Lawnmower. I said to Roger, who's this band, the Lawnmower? And he turned around and he said, oh, that's you and Mick. You've got 10 days to get it together. So he threw his band together like a skiffle band. Everyone banging things, Tony Doyle on double bass, Tony Donald on drums, Martin Yager on guitar, Mike Nelson on sax, and so on vocals and harmonica. And I always remember Mick playing harmonica, very manic kind of punk harmonica on Got My Mojo Working, Muddy Waters number. And then he sang Gin House and I played harmonica. And we did about 10 dates with Mick. And he got together part rhythm section to move back to Manchester and form Simply Red. But also, I also remember this. Roger also had all these independent promotions going on. I mean, we're doing a Left Bank Bistro, the Lawnmower was on, and Left Bank Bistro was in Matthew Street, opposite with the Calland. And I always remember this young black lad walking down the stairs and going, coming up to me and prodding me, are you Al Peters? I said, yeah. He said, you're going to manage me? And I said, what? He said, you know Adrian Henri? I said, yeah. He said, you got a studio? Yeah, just round the corner. He said, well, my name's Craig Charles, and by the way, don't call me a poet, I'm a wordsmith. Turned around, off he went up the stairs. He came down the studio on the Monday after and said, and there he was, and I got him his first lot of work, and he's a great guy. And
he's now DJing big gigs.
Oh, no, I went, well, I'll tell you the story there. So, as I say, I got in all the Peel sessions. I've got the album there. I think it's up online now, one track. Someone's put it up, and we did the Peel sessions and a few things like that. Got him in the early radio, Platform 9, and also First TV. But then I could see him. He was taking off. He was a great guy. He could do a thing. He could he would ask, the producer would ask him, look at the newspapers, pick up on the news and say, can you write something about this? Craig had the ability to write something on the way to the studio in Manchester and memorise it. Wow. And I was always impressed by that. You know, and he was a young lad there. You know, I'll tell you the story. I always remember when I was running the Everyman Bistro on Sunday nights, and he was booked to do that night, so support with the Lawnmower, and he came down and he had a bit of a fracker on him somewhere, and he had his teeth wired up, and I said to Craig, you can't do that with your teeth. He said, yes I can. You know, there's no problem. I thought it was good the night you saw the blood, and he carried off after it. Fantastic.
You should have seen the other guy.
Yeah, I always remember seeing his wires glistening. I wish I had a photograph.
Oh yeah.
But here's one of his poems, a bit of one. In England and in Africa and in the Middle East, there's a lot of money to be made from the disturbance of the peace, with plunderers and looters, with murder their content. For keeping things at boiling point is the armoury of government. Now that's 1982. That's one of the tracks I recorded with Craig.
Still relevant today. Was it with music? Did you add music to the...
I added music to that track. To some of the tracks we added music, and the lineup did vary. Because I'd also added music to Adrian Henri's Wasteland and Autobiography. I've released Wasteland and I Love This Hotel, right, and all that. But as I say, that's out now. By the way, Will, thank you very much.
Pleasure. All the best.